Everybody, Andy here again. Well, as you might be able to tell by the sort of darkness and that here, and I look out the window, it's a pretty miserable day here in the south coast of England. And as it probably happened with you as well, our clocks went back, they changed last night, so we're out of summertime, the winter is around, and all those seasonally affected, disordered people who suffer from that are going to be suffering from it a lot more. And so this really sort of drums it home, is when you get up in the morning and it's blowing a gale, it's raining, but last night I actually went out and had a few drinks. So you wake up in the morning and you're slightly fuzzy, and the best thing I find for getting rid of that is to go out for a run. So that's what I did first thing this morning, about sort of 8 o'clock or so. And it's one of those occasions when you go out and you think, do I really want to? Because it's windy, as I said. But when you get out there, and I love this time of year, it's one of the things about living by the sea. If anybody else can sort of appreciate this, if you do and agree with me, please let me know. But you live by the sea, and in the winter the whole place changes, because of being a sort of a resort town, more or less, you've got all the sort of stuff that goes on in the summer and the visitors. But in the winter, I say it closes down, but it's a different place altogether, and the weather changes. Like today, the sea's tumbling in, it's grey, it's miserable, but in some ways the people who live by the sea, prefer that sort of time. It's different, you know, the sort of wild, untamed sea and all that sort of thing. So I went down, run along the seafront, and the waves are crashing, literally sort of crashing over the top of the promenade. And you always know, I said to my wife when I got back, you always know when the weather's bad, but when the birds that usually sit on the beach sort of feeding are actually on the promenade feeding instead, so you can get some sort of impression of that. As I said, it was raining, but I loved it. It was absolutely great. And as I said, I called this video sort of blowing away the cobwebs, and that's what is always a good thing. Not to say I had a hangover or anything like that, but a sort of slight fuzziness that you do get, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you've had a couple the night before, and it sort of really does blow away the cobwebs. You can run along the seafront, hardly anyone around at all, except a few people like myself, braving the elements and enjoying it as well. You know, sort of families with little kids, and they've all got their little Wellington boots on and their big coats, and they're standing and watching the waves crashing over and getting wet. I met some lady later on with their sort of couple of dogs and the kids, and she said, "We're mad, aren't we?" And I said, "Yeah, but it's great, isn't it?" You know, and turn round back into the wind, and it's one of those occasions where you're sort of running along and it's hard work, but I love that. You know, you sort of testing yourself against the elements type of thing, and in some ways you're thinking to yourself, just bring it on, make it worse. But you get into a sort of a little groove as you're sort of running along. You're getting soaked as the rain's hitting you in the face, but it's different, and you get, you know, it's hard to explain. Maybe anybody else out there who understands what I'm talking about. You just sort of getting into a groove, you're running, and I actually went further than I anticipated, because you go out first thing and you think, oh, I don't know how long I'm going to stand this for, it might be horrible, but come back absolutely soaked. But one of the best runs I've done for a long time. So that's what it's like here in the winter. Maybe you can tell me what it's like where you are in the winter, whether you prefer the winter. I don't prefer the winter. It's just that at the seaside, when you get that sort of stormy weather and the waves are crashing onto the beach, and it looks amazing. Unfortunately, I couldn't obviously get any pictures or video, because the camera would have been ruined with the salt and the spray and the rain and all that sort of thing. So just thought I'd share that with you. You know, the first day of winter, more or less, and it's sort of showing itself. I think the winter is showing its true colours straight away. So it's grey, it's miserable. When I first started off running, if I go onto the seafront, I look across to my right, as it was, and it is to my right as I look here as well, to a town called Eastbourne, which is about 15 miles away across the bay, and that's predominantly where our weather comes from. And you can look at that, and you can see, I could see straight away that it was, all I could see Eastbourne, it was misty, and you think, yeah, that's coming my way. And sure enough, once I turned around and sort of headed back towards that sort of way again, back towards home, the sort of visibility was down to about half a mile because of all the mist, because it was the spray, it was the rain, it got worse. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that. It's quite an exhilarating experience, certainly blowing away the cobwebs, sets you up for the day, and those few sort of brave and hardy souls who braved it out there earlier on today are probably thinking, yeah, that was good, I really enjoyed that, once they dried off and had a shower and almost got back in the warm with a nice cup of tea or something. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.